So we're going to measure a staple set cylinder brush, which is also known as a punch roller brush, using our custom design form which we'll find on the internet. So the custom design form will ask for a bunch of brush specifications listed from A to K. A asks for the brush face. So the brush face is this distance here. So we're taking a measurement of that, which is 145 millimeters. That's that. B, the core length. This plastic part, whether it's plastic, white, steel, whatever it may be, that is your core, the central part that holds the bristles. So we're going to put the tape measure through there. We've measured that at 150 millimeters, as you can see. The core ID, which is referred to, ID means inside diameter, this measurement here. Any ID will always refer to inside diameter, so I'm taking that measurement there. You can do it with or without tape measure. I find that I get a much more accurate measurement with the vernier. So the inside diameter is 40 millimeters. The tuft hole diameter, so the tuft hole being the punch hole where the bristles are inserted, and this method of construction basically lends itself to the name being tuft or punch, so punched into the tuft. The diameter of this, looking here, it's pretty important to get the best information possible. A lot of the tuft or drill hole sizes, they go up in 0.5 millimeter increments. So here I've got 6.46, which would mean it's a 6.5 mil tuft hole. The next bit of information we need is the core diameter, so the OD, outside diameter. So as you can see here, we've got a measurement of 65 millimeters, which can then be supported by the vernier measurement of 64.93 millimeters. So that's called 65. Always go to your closest millimeter. Your filament material, so sometimes you can't tell exactly what that is. Some people know what it is. In this case I do know what it is. This one's a super soft polyethylene. So what we need to do, we've identified that. Now we're going to measure the diameter of the bristle, which will basically dictate how hard the brush is. So measuring that in metric, of course, is 0.33 millimeters. The bristles aren't always round, so it's always good to turn at 90 degrees and take another measurement. So 0.35, so it's almost round. And to support that, just grab another random bristle, which can be selected from anywhere on the brush. If you're going to get two bristles that measure the same, you can be fairly confident that the rest will follow. So 0.35. Yeah. And try not to put too much pressure on the bristle. You don't want to squash the bristle. You want to measure the outside diameter of the bristle. So here, 0.32 of a millimeter, 0.33 actually. So that's the same. 0.33 of a millimeter is the bristle diameter. The brush pattern. So the brush pattern refers to the configuration of the bristle holes, the plug holes, the tuft holes. So is this one straight or staggered? Sure, I don't know if you can see here, but they all do go in a straight line, but there's also an offset row which we refer to as staggered. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 starting rows by one offset pattern. So there's exactly the same amount in an offset pattern, so that means it's 12 by 2 row staggered pattern. Taking note, of course, with the bristle, that the bristle is straight, it's not crimped, so there'll be your two options. So crimped means wave and straight means level, and obviously the colour is blue. The pitch, and this sort of terminology will refer to any tufted brush, whether it be block or cylinder. So we're referring to the distance from one hole to the next in the same row. You see that there? So that distance can be measured, the true measurements from the middle of one hole to the middle of the next hole, but you're going to get exactly the same measurement if you go from the outside of one hole to the outside of the next hole. It's just whatever's easier for you. So I'm getting a measurement here of 15.8. I know that that's very close. The standard is actually 15 millimeters, so don't be put off by a tenth of a millimeter in your measurements. Just go round it down or up to your closest millimeter. The only other thing that I would be confirming and checking is the diameter of the brush. So the outside, the OD of the brush from here to here. We've already taken this measurement from there to there. So that diameter there, I'm measuring 125 millimeters. Let's say, for example, you can't get access to the bottom half, and you know what the size of your core is, the OD of your core. You just measure that component there, which is 30 millimeters. So it's got to be the same on the other side, 30, 30, and the OD of the core being 65 also marries up to the measurement of 125 millimeters. That's it.